Hello everyone, Derek Stam Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. Today we've got a 2-for-1 for you, as we've got the Elite Series 121 and 124 CM Punk, and well, I'm pretty damn excited to get into these. I don't know about you, and of course, second video in with this new tripod. Testing it out here a little bit more as I get used to trying to film with it, at least figure review wise. I do want to try to use it a little bit for the pick fed, but I'm gonna finish the matchup I'm working on with the way I've been doing it and then try it with the tripod, just because the next match I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do a one-on-one or like a more traditional wrestling match. I don't know, I just gotta look at my card and see what feels right. But that's why my arena right now, it's a little bit in chaos. You've got the Acclaimed over there. You've got all this wreckage going on. Oh, don't want to tease a little segment that'll come later on in the video, but I'm sure you kind of saw well enough there already, as we've got a mountain of punks over here on the side. But enough talking, why don't we get more into this action figure review? Is I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wasn't expecting to have both of these guys men on the card, but I am very grateful that my boy over at Wrestling Collector Shops, well, his eBay at least, sent me in both of these. I'm not gonna lie, I almost thought I got the wrong order at first, because unless I did, and I don't know I did, with the way these promo packages are, I almost thought they were the exact same figure. Like, if it wasn't for this one being a little bit more shrunken down, or like pushed away, I guess you could say, like it's not as zoomed in on them, I wouldn't have thought anything else of it. But you know, it's nice to have both of these CM Punks, and looking at both of the figure waves that these guys come in, I will definitely say I do gotta pick up my slack a little bit. I do have almost this whole wave over here. I've got Motor City Machine Guns. I now have the Punk. I would love to get the rest of that wave. And same thing with this wave, if I'm gonna be completely honest. That Mellow is nice. That Theory's not too bad. That Alba Fire looks pretty fire, no pun intended. And the Gunther, well, who wouldn't want another Gunther? I don't know, maybe that's more or less up to you. But without any further ado, why don't we get into these action figure reviews and break both of these punks out of their plastic prisons now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys. Now that we've got both of these CM Punks broken out of the plastic prisons here, we can go over the Elite 121 and the Elite 124, but first and foremost, we do gotta get into these really damn good accessories. Say it like that because I can't complain. Cloth goods are always a good thing, and well, we'll get started off here with the tank top. And I only say it like this because I got a little bit of a gripe when it comes to the hands, not with this guy's hands, but with this other one. But this cloth accessory here, a nice little tank top, you got it velcroed, so you know, no back graphics. I don't even know if there is a back graphic on this, but if there is, could have been a potential get there. But you know, we can't always have the stretchy material shirts. Sometimes we gotta deal with the velcro, and well, this is really damn good. I love the way the like decal came out on it. I love the like fabric feel of the shirt. It's really high quality stuff here. I love the logo itself too. Just all around good shit with that, you know, I can't complain there. But when it comes to this Buster's hands, he does come with two different sets of interchangeable hands, just like his Elite 124 counterpart. But unlike his Elite 124 counterpart, they're just standard wrist tape hands with no fucking with no damn hand, like no hand tattoos at all. You don't got the finger tattoos at all on either set of hand. Like I'll throw this one up here just to show you. You don't get it on either set of hand. I know that's nothing necessarily new, as this isn't a new figure, but just figured I'd mention just I don't know, I just had to mention it. We got the red X's on the hands though, those do look pretty decent. But before we get into the 124 cloth goods, I will point out how his hands are actually quite well. You can see the tattoos there. They've got the sculpting and stuff, and I only mention that because both of these figures, from the wrist tape, the wrist tape section, they both have sculpted on wrist tape, so it's kind of odd that we only get this kind of hand with the 124 and not with the 121. But maybe if you want to take a little red Sharpie, just fill it in red, I could see that maybe working. I don't know, not the biggest ordeal though. What is the big ordeal is his ROH style ring jacket that he wore during his match with CM Punk, with his match with Seth Rollins on the Raw Netflix debut. And man, what nice quality this is. I love how we got the X's on the back. We've got the white strap on the front with the skull, and it looks fairly well put together. I'll say it like that. It looks really damn good. And speaking of really damn good, we'll have to see how these cloth goods look on these figures later on, because when we get into a fun section of the video, you'll understand why. But which one do I do first? I don't know. I guess we'll go with the all-in themed gear. I don't know if this is exactly his gear from AEW All-In, his last ever matchup with AEW, but I will say how close this does resemble it, and I can see why a lot of people say this is just his All-In attire. I don't know, I would have to literally have a picture of it put up right here in front of my face, but we'll get more into that here in a second. First things first, why don't we get into this head scan, which it is a little bit of a reuse, but it's got a different paint application as far as the beard goes. Not as much gray in it as I'm used to seeing. I love the way the hair itself looks as well. Really nice, solid, just head scan all around. Maybe the forehead's a little big, I don't know. I'm not too indecisive on shit like that. It doesn't bug me too much. Though I will say I do love the way his chest tattoo pops off here on this figure. Even though we could get all the flowers and stuff filled in, we should hopefully get that here soon. Especially when you look at his other arm, his other tattoo decals that are on these arms. It's actually kind of nutty to think how nice and colorful these are. Maybe a little bit of color could be thrown in here and there throughout the sleeves. But man, these tattoos, they are looking pretty pristine on Mr. Punk here. And while we would have to remove this elbow pad to see the rest of the tattoos on this arm, and I am kind of interested in doing so, but that might take a little too long to actually do it. So we're not going to. At least not on camera. But as mentioned, we've got the sculpted on wrist tape with the non-sculpted on hands here. Very, very odd choice. But all around, this all-in CM Punk is quite nice. I love the way the blue and the red and the white just meshes all together with the little bits of black thrown in there because of the soles of the boots and the knee pads here. But either way, this Punk is definitely probably going to be one of my favorite ones in my collection as far as the modern day figures go. We'll just have to do a little bit of something with it because, when it comes down to the articulation, the head can move quite well, I'd say. It might sit a little low on the neck peg, but who cares there? The arms, of course, can go 360 just like the head, and it can go 360 in multiple ways, as of course we've got the bicep swivel, and we've got the shoulder articulation that pops the arm in and out, double jointed arms there. You've got wrist articulation and wrist bend there, got all the good arm articulation that you could ask for. No butterfly joints because it's not an Ultimate Edition, but we've got a pretty decent ab crunch here. Can't complain about that. Got some nice waist swivel. Of course, that can go 360 as well. And speaking of 360, his leg can go 360. Sadly, though, oh wait, his leg did give me a little bit of trouble popping it back in. So I do have to indefinitely heat treat this one, though. At least the legs are kicking forward and stuff like that, but they're not kicking out as well as they could be for that nice super kick range and motion. But you got the double jointed knee, you've got kick pad articulation there. Sadly, the weird sculpt where it's the top half of the kick pad sculpted onto the lower leg. You've got ankle articulation here, of course ankle swivel and all that good jazz. So can't really complain too much about this punk, despite the fact that hot water treatment won't be in his future. But can't say too much bad things on that when this CM Punk is way worse than that. I can barely even get his leg up to a big boot position on the one side, let alone kick his legs out, because I already know that's going to give me trouble. So let's not even go there. But articulation wise, this CM Punk is fairly similar, obviously, but they did not give him the kick pad attached to the upper leg here, so can't complain there. I do prefer that a little bit more. And speaking of, I kind of prefer the way this CM Punk's tattoos look all together, because you've got like the little bits of yellow thrown in there. Just like the colors seem to pop way more on this CM Punk, except for the chest tattoo. The chest tattoo actually looks a little bit more faded compared to the other figure, but all around not too bad as far as the tattoo decals go. We do have a newer head scan here, as this one is more based off of his first go around head scan, the return head scan. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just to show you here, it is quite literally like the same head scan pretty much, but you've got the longer slick back hair, and it adds enough detail to make it feel a little bit different. I kind of was wondering that, and seeing it side by side, it kind of looks like a reuse of that head scan. Maybe it's a little bit different, but it's practically the same concept there, and I am not hating on it at all, especially because now I can throw this Punk head scan onto my Ultimate. I can throw it onto my other elites and give them this mean, like, straight stern scan with the slick back hair, looking really nice. Speaking of really nice, here we've got this silver and white gear with the black base for the colors. It looks really nice. I want to say we've had this, like, not this figure, but like we've seen him wear this gear before. Like, it's not necessarily a new gear. In fact, I think when the Macho Man gear Punk was coming out, we were supposed to get a CM Punk that looked oddly similar to this Punk, but maybe this is why it got canceled. Maybe Punk let someone know at Mattel, hey, I'm gonna be re-wearing that attire, but I'm gonna be adding a special jacket to it, so maybe you want to hold off on that. And if that's why, 100% the right move. And speaking of the right move, I think it is perfectly well and tied to, get these figures all suited up and maybe get them in on some CM Punk comparisons now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I know I said I'd get them all dressed up, and I never even put them into any, like, jackets or nothing, but I did get all my Mattel CM Punk figures that I do own. I do own some of the JEW. Some of the Jazzwares AEW figures, but I don't feel like displaying them. AKA, I'd have to go dig through, find the extra legs, maybe find an extra couple of CM Punk torsos, find a couple of CM Punk heads. Nah, I'm not doing all that. I do have some of the AEW Punks, but it's really not that big of a deal, especially when the Punk collection, just from this standpoint alone, is looking really, really pristine right now. We've got the WrestleMania 29 fix up here. We've got the Chicago Cubs fix up here, which is something I recently did. I don't know if I showed it off in a video or not. I know I did post it to Instagram, but if you guys are now just seeing that for the first time, let me pull that up here, and we can kind of show this off really quick. Simple little arm swap, torso swap for the top half. Swap the knee pads, and yeah, it's victory for success, you know? Like, I can't complain about this. This is fucking gorgeous. I love having this CM Punk Elite in my collection again. And what do I love the most about having that CM Punk in my collection is it is inspiring me to want to pick up some CM Punk Elites from yesteryear, at least 2 more, and do the same thing that I did with these 2 with those. But instead of doing what I did with these ones, I might have to invest in a couple more of these ones, because I love the tattoo decal all around on these arms. Plus, it would be kind of cool to get some of the taped hands on some of the older CM Punk figures, I should say. And well, I'm sure you notice I did take this guy's extra set of hands, I put them over here. It looks a hell of a lot better to have sculpted on wrist tape. You know what, let's just show that off real quick too, I guess. Why not? You know, why not? It looks really good. How it should look. And you know, I say it like that because here's a beautiful, beautiful prime example of why I was kind of skeptical of the wrist taped hands at first, and that's because my Ultimate Edition CM Punk hands, the tattoos did not print out properly at all on one of the hands. These ones, they're alright, but it's just kind of whatever. Like, the one's a little faded looking, the other one's quite alright. At least it says drug free on it, and you can read that. But all around, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the Elite 121 and Elite 124 CM Punk over here in the front row, they're the main focal point, they're the main centerpieces. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, despite the leg issues, I'm definitely still going to rank these guys quite high, because the leg issues is something that you can fix at home with a little bit of a hot water method, as I like to call it, or you could use a hair dryer too. It doesn't necessarily matter. The main focal point is to heat that plastic up well enough to where it softens up, and then you can pop the legs off of it, check and see if there's any extra plastic built up around the ball joint or something like that. And usually that'll also help just kind of loosen that feeling up around the ball joint and help the legs move a lot smoother than they were when you got it out of the box at first. That's usually the big goal when it comes to these figures, is to try to do as minimal effort as you can. And I'd say that's probably the best ways you can do it without having to invest in anything outside of your house. You know, if you have a pot, recommended a small one so you don't have to take like a big spaghetti pot and boil a bunch of water in that, and then you gotta do all the figure shit in that. But if you have a pot, you got running water, you got a stove, you're already lined up for success. And even if you don't have that last part, the stove is optional. You can always use a microwave as well if you don't have a stove. And if you're really that down in the slums, well, you probably shouldn't be collecting action figures, but I'm sure you could probably work around a campfire as well, though highly not recommended, especially if you're under the ages of probably like 16, because God forbid a child starts a house fire, and or just starts a fire in general, because if you're doing a camping fire method, why the fuck are you even doing it? Anyway, little ramble aside, I don't even know why I was on that tangent. But if you got those 3 things, or you got a hair dryer, go ask your mother or your sister if you can go borrow theirs if you have to. There's ways you can work around that. It's not like a misprint when it comes to like the tattoos, or a misprint when it comes to like the kick pads, for instance. I think, was it this one? Oh yeah, this one right here. You've got like a little white streak going right there, so like the deco wasn't applied as well as it could have been. But all around, they're both really solid figures, and I'm going to give both of them, probably because I'm also a CM Punk mark, so that doesn't help. But I'm going to give both of these figures a good solid 8 out of 10. And that just is simply because the leg issues are really not that bad. All around, everything was applied fairly well. It's literally just legs I have a problem with. Of course, yeah, you might have like missing tattoo decal when it comes to like the upper like earpiece here, because he's got a tattoo like right here that goes on the neck. But I'm not really hurting over some small little inconveniences there. I'm really not. An 8 out of 10 is really solid. And when it comes down to it, we also do like to poke a little fun at the Dave Meltzer star scale. So on a scale of 1 to Young Buck match, we're going to give this guy, or well, these guys, a good solid 4 out of 5 stars. Really solid figures nonetheless, and hopefully the leg issues won't be a thing with your guys' figures, but if they are, they are. If they aren't, well, God bless you and God bless your figures. But speaking of blessing, you know, if you guys could, feel free to leave a like and help the channel grow a little bit here with that continuous like button. Press there. Now, obviously don't repeatedly press the same video like button, but if you guys do, feel free to check out some of my other videos while you're, you know, on my channel, potentially just scrolling through my shiznit, you know. Don't be afraid to go through and like some of the other videos too. But speaking of those other videos, we did just recently do a Stone Cold action figure review, so if you guys would like to, you know, feel free to go check that out. We got some pick fed content as well. We've got a lot of different stuff up on here. If you scroll through here long enough, you will see plenty of content. I've been doing this stuff for 3 years, you guys, so I'm sure I've got something out there that you'd be interested in. Whether it's the pick fed, whether it's doing reviews like I'm doing right now, whether it's maybe small little fix-ups, because that hot water method I mentioned, one of my highest ranking videos is literally teaching you guys how to do the hot water method through the microwave. Not even a boiling pot of water. The microwave method, where I just nuked the water for like 2 minutes, sat it on my table, and plopped them up in the cup. That's all I did. And they ended up working out really well. I will say though, sometimes it does not work. You might have to do it a couple more times. Maximum times you should have to do it is 3, and past that point you might have to invest in some tea tree oil, and that'll help loosen up the joints and stuff like that. Just make sure you don't apply a lot. Apply probably like a drop or 2. I haven't personally done it myself yet, though I did invest in some tea tree oil for this reason. 2 very reliable sources have told me that that's what they used, and I am willing to give it a shot on some of the figures that have given me troubles in the past. But yeah, I guess big ramble aside, the big thing here, if you guys could, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe, and you guys are really gonna be helping me out if you guys can subscribe. You know, we are on the road to 500 subscribers, and well, we are literally 7 away from that big goal. So what are you guys waiting for? Send it to whoever you have to help me out if you want. If not, womp womp, I guess. But on that note, we're running a little dry on time. So have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I'm not in your time zone. But if anything, just enjoy your day, and hopefully I'll enjoy mine before I go to work. But on that note, deuces, ooses, it's clobbering time.